literary. Yeah, anyways, wait, what's up? I have this sinking feeling that we sort of forgot something. I have... Right. Hey, did we forget something? Like, I honestly, hold on. Crap. Yeah. Hey, what's going on? Yeah. I'm looking for. Right. Alright. Hopefully I'm not screwing myself with this one. Hold on. What am I looking at? I'm not sure. Yep, and now I get sick. No. Alright, starting to feel sick. Anyways! Alright, where are we? Did we reset yet? No, I'm not sure if we reset yet, but here we go. Yeah! Why am I looking left? Why am I looking left? Hold on. Is the mic picking that up? Yo! I don't think the mic is picking it up. But anyways, all that. Alright, I'm starting to get sick now. They're just not good, but yeah, I honestly have this sinking feeling that we sort of forgot something, although I'm not sure what it is. But anyways, Mina Yokuzo. Alright, class, settle down and let me tell you a story. As of now, we're trying to settle our schedule for the new year, and this is like the first time we've had class on a Monday. Because I'm headed for a tournament this week, and we usually do painting stuff on the weekend or on Fridays. And I have to tell you, this schedule ain't so bad. Like, if we push this one, we can like stream for like 4 times a week. I can like feel the desperate energy of of the first day of the first day of a work week. Oh yeah, also we'll be doing our debuting. No, we're not doing. We'll be debuting our chibi version or our chibi model made by my well, here, there he is. He's pointing. All right, he just dawned on me. that he's pointing. All right, he's not doing the whole Roman salute stuff. Anyways, he was made by my fellow Islander Lhonert. So if you're into art and fighting games, you should check her out. Her links down below in the description. And speaking of endorsements, big shout out to my wife for wait for the timestamp is this. We'll be playing Blue Archive again this Wednesday and Friday. Anyways, wait, hold on. We forgot to check out. Wait, hold on. This is Lhonert, my fellow Islander. So again, I forgot. I'm so sorry. I'm starting to feel sick. I've been rushing a lot of things. Lhonert, again, art, fighting games. Check her out. And then, of course, we have Blue Archive this Wednesday and Friday. Anyways, lots of work to do, but before we get to it, please like, share, subscribe. Do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo. And here we hold on. Go! Oh, yep. Definitely starting to feel it. Where is it? Where is it? Hold on. Yes. Yeah. All right, you guys. All right. So, by the way, would you like to see him or new PNG model? Hold on, let me just turn off some of these things. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Ta-da! We're like wearing the same stuff. I thought that he needed to point at the chalkboard behind us. So we have other versions of him, but you know what? This is the best one. Don't forget to check out Lhonert. But anyways, why don't we just get onto it? Wait, what are we doing? Are we sleeving? Because hold on, let me just I need to blow my nose. Anyways, the reason why again why like I'm posting up a lot of stuff or why we're trying to get this job done is because I have a SIF tournament on Sunday. And it will be like the last time that I will be playing on an amateur or on a novice level. After this tourney, I'm gonna have to play on a national level, which is more cutthroat. So, anyways, I was honestly really not that into it, or I honestly wasn't feeling it. For the simple reason that there's this LARP event. You know what? Hold on, I just realized. I promise you guys, like we will be sleeving, but I just realized I still don't have because like I said, hold on. Again, I promise you guys we'd be sleeving, but I just realized that we still don't have I still the proper container for these two still have yet to arrive for unmatched. So opening these things up, opening up their decks might not be such a good idea for the simple reason that I still don't have the proper container. I finally managed to get Alice. And then of course this is Pandora. Pandora wasn't on my list. You can see I've already primed them and I've already dry brushed them. And here's the thing, right? Her boobs weren't meant to be that shiny. Alright? But the thing about and her chin weren't meant to be, but the thing about dry brushing or for slap chop priming is that it's going to basically highlight those that are going to be hit by the light. And apparently for Pandora, her tits, her tits, her tits are like the center of her mini, right? And then next is we have Alice. Alice is basically the last piece of the puzzle for my what you call it, well, Victorian literature collection or Victorian literature team. We've got Sherlock Holmes, which I left downstairs. We've got Sherlock, the Invisible Man. Who else? What are they? The Invisible Man, Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde, and Dracula. Alice was the last one. Author was what you call it. Who was her author again? Lewis Carroll. Yes. He was a very famous child diddler for his time. But anyways, I just realized that painting them might not be opening up their decks, which like I have right here. I even have the sleeves and everything. Opening up their decks, which are still sealed, by the way, might not be such a good idea. Like I said, still not. I still don't have their proper containers. I got them like secondhand or pre-loved. Because they're not entirely part of my entire collection. Only Alice was part of my collection. Pandora was just an add-on that I was forced to provide. So right now, we can't de-sleeve them, or you know what? If we have time later after we finish painting, we'll de-sleeve them. But for now, we'll just keep them where they are. For the simple reason that I still don't have their proper container, and if I remove them from here, if I unseal them, just like Pandora did, not a good idea because, like I said, they belong to their own respective containers, and the ones I got have yet to arrive. So for tonight, we will be focusing on painting stuff. As you can see, that's what we do here. On Sunday, right? Sunday. One of the reasons why we're doing MWF, yeah, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for this week is that I have an upcoming tourney. An upcoming tourney this Sunday, but the problem is, uh, here's the thing: I'm off training, and I'm not really that sure of my chances. All I know is that this will be the last. This will be the last time that I will be competing under a novice or an amateur under an amateur division or under an amateur tag or amateur category. After this one, I'll be playing on a national level or pro level category because they won't let me anymore. So anyways, painting, I honestly don't really feel that good because the council released, or the national basically the National Council for CIF Philippines released the season standing, and unfortunately or sadly, I honestly didn't even breach the top 20 because I just went through one of the worst outing or performances in in my CIF or tabletop warfare career. But here's the thing, right? I honestly was on the fence of attending that tourney on Sunday. But yesterday, because check this out, there's an upcoming LARP event in the city tomorrow. And then, apart from the LARP event in the city tomorrow, there's going to be other stuff. You know what? Fine. I would rather play Blue Archive than actually attend uh, that tournament because I'm not feeling it yet because like I said, I'm still traumatized from my last outing, tournament outing. It was my first national tourney under amateur category, and I got shafted. And it's like worse. So what I did was I completed my army now. But the problem is, in terms of training, in terms of actual participation, I've been down for a bit. For the simple reason that several guys had to shift teams, and right now, for this particular city, we're under a rebuilding process. And so far, from the original city team, there's only me and at least two, two active and three active and one inactive guy left. Apparently, that other guy is focusing on his focusing on his AOS Age of Sigmar career. That's why we're here. Uh, okay. So, anyways, as you can see, guys. Okay, hold on. Let me just finish prepping. So far, we'll be using a Mommy G brush. Can you guys see it, or is it like too bright? It's a Mommy G brush. It costs like what? $3, $4, I think. Here's the thing, right? Me personally, I use like several brushes because well, I have to. And like I know a lot of YouTube artists. What they do, what they say is that, oh no, that's crap. Just use like one brush, it'll be fine. All you need is a tip and something wide enough that would cover an entire mini. And then I call bull on that one because almost always every guy that says that on YouTube that use only one brush, you don't need any other brush, just find one good brush and you'll be fine. No. And then you know why? Because what happens is that and then they'll take that one brush, they'll get that one brush, and then on the next scene you'll find out that they're going to be painting a basic space marine. Guys, a lone space marine is like what, 70% plate armor? Alright, a lone space marine, 70% plate armor, and you don't need what, 70% armor, then and what, the remaining 30% is like the uh face mask that Aquila on his chest, his armor lining, and apart from the armor lining, um armor lining, apart from the armor lining, you'll get like what? His gun. That's it. Of course, you're only gonna need one brush because if you can't paint that crap in like with like one brush, guess what? Don't paint at all. It means you're a crappy miniature painter, right? If you can't paint that with one brush. But check this out, like for other minis with details such as these, yeah, you're gonna definitely gonna need more than one brush. Because what? Your basic Space Marine has his gun, his face mask, his holster. That's it. And they're all huge. This particular mini, she has a clock. Right? That's a clock right there. I'm not sure if you guys can see it. But that thing right there, that's a clock. With hands and numbers and everything. So yeah, I don't believe that crap because we're only gonna need like one brush. No, and then yeah, you're only gonna need one brush if you're painting a space marine. But if you're painting detail heavy minis like this, you need more than one brush. So, anyways, one of the reasons why they're so alike is because they're supposed to go in a rank and file, and the objective or the idea of painting these things is that they're meant to go in what you'd call a movement tray like this. They're supposed to go in a movement tray like this. See, it's alright because they're magnetized and everything. So they're supposed to go in a movement tray like that. By the way, these are Night's Watch sworn brothers. And the problem with them is that they're supposed to wear black. But holy hell, I mean, I find them so boring. Look at this. Right, the reason I went with red, with the British Grenadier red, the white pants and everything, is because I watched Mel Gibson's The Patriot, before starting these guys. And you know what? That's not such a bad idea. I'm not really into black. Oh, so sorry. I went off on an entire tangent there. One of the reasons why it's the perfect time to debut our PNG or chibi model is because hold on, where is it? Hold on, I'm looking for it. Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. It's because when I paint, I usually wear this stuff over my head. So basically, it's like a headlamp with this thingy. And here's the thing. One of the reasons why that's why we can't use our model because our model simply isn't even sophisticated enough to basically catch my eyes with my glasses on. So yeah, there's that. So what I'm trying to do now is that these are 2, 4, 6, 8. They're meant to go in a movement tray. And what I do for speed and efficiency is that I basically factory line them. Like for example, I'm working on their quote unquote leather gambison. But since you know what, I committed to British Grenadier. Since I committed to British Grenadier Red, yeah, I'm going for the red gambison and the white. So there's that. Okay, okay. I mean, hold on, we are going on a lot of tangents. I'm not feeling it. But honestly, I honestly didn't, don't feel like going into that particular tourney. Because I have like more fun things to do, like play Blue Archive, and then play Blue Archive or what you call it, either play Blue Archive or join that LARP event. But here's the thing, right? One of the reasons why I'm down or I'm not, down to play for the city is because the team is under a reorganization strain right now. Like everyone's reorganizing. Like I said earlier, there are like only 3 guys left to represent the city, or at least the local team, and then the rest one decided to focus on his AOS career, and the other one shifted to another team. So yeah, we're a bit down right now in terms of membership, people leave and everything. But you know what? That's no problem at all. So, but yeah, but you know what? I'm a bit down about that for the simple reason that I miss the old boys. But here's the thing. What I did was that since we're gonna be turning as a team, I organized this practice session yesterday at the LGS headquarters. And like holy hell, you guys, a council member showed up because here in our little island, the SIF community or the SIF what you call it organization is basically led by a council member. And yeah, like I said, I wasn't, I've already registered. I finalized I finalized my what you call it my attorney registration, which you know what I didn't feel like until at the last minute. But holy hell, a council member actually showed up and started doing fist bump, or at least just fist bumped me. Uh, so I don't know what to make of that. Are they like encouraging us to what you call it keep on playing or something? Because we haven't felt anything from the localized from the localized council for like a long time now. Like we've been holding our own, and yeah, and then, that reminds me, I forgot to like fill up uh that fill up that thing like that we were supposed to fill up. Anyways, you know what? That's their problem. I mean, I was a little bit disappointed. They released last season's final rankings, and I sort of didn't even breach. Sort of didn't even breach like the top 20. And I have to tell you, right? It wasn't as bad as I expected because of like I said, I'm still reeling from the trauma of I'm still reeling from the trauma of facing one of the worst tournament outings of my career, tabletop career, which is fine, which is good, but yeah, again, when I started playing tabletop war games, I was under this impression like that I have a good head for strategy. Right? One of the reasons why we play Blue Archive is to basically, practice my head for strategy. But that's just the thing, right? It turns out I wasn't like that talented. Since I couldn't even breach this season's top 20. I mean, what? There's like over 100 players on the island. So, anyways, hopefully, I do a better job this upcoming season. And yeah, hopefully, that we're worth the title of commanding the Night's Watch into battle. All right, so yeah, how I do it, since like I said, right, earlier, since we do the rank and file, these are the guys that I finished earlier this morning. What I do or my method is to basically factory line them in a sense that, uh, as you can see, this is a movement trade. They're all part of the movement trades. Imagine an HP counter. They're just like that. And what you do is that you move them around with this. But the thing is, since they're all identical in the sense that as you can see, there's one, two, three. There are three lines, and then they're all rank and file in line. You could simply repeat them like there's three variations, four models each per tray. So you could just repeat the process, but the problem is painting it this way or painting it the way I do is, well, boring. I mean, it's gonna be boring. I mean, one of the reasons why I turned my Night's Watch Sworn Brothers into British Grenadiers is because it's black and white. That's why I'm excited to paint Alice. Because we can play with her. Right now we're not gonna do the sleeving because, like I said, the containers still haven't arrived. So yeah. So and because I'm excited because I like color, you guys. And basically just doing 50 Shades of Black makes me wanna just stop painting and everything. See, look at that. Look at the way the red pops. I have no regrets at all in turning my Night's Watch units into British Grenadiers. I would rather that they be British Grenadiers. I should have brought up my Night's Watch scouts or Ranger no, not Ranger. Yeah, Ranger Hunters. For the simple reason that I turned them into Vietnam era Navy SEALs. If you guys saw that, I'm not sure that meme or those pictures of Vietnam era Navy SEALs. What they did was that they were wearing their basic camouflage for their top, and then they would wear blue jeans at the bottom. So yeah, there's that. See the way it pops. The red is so pretty. Yeah, and I'd rather let my units look off kilter or off book than actually do 50 Shades of Grey, because if I'm just going to settle for like 50 Shades of Grey, I mean, I wouldn't paint them at all. So yeah, I mean, they're my minis anyway. Yeah, Blue Archive. I gotta tell you, I just want some music. Because usually when I do this alone, I usually play a podcast, a horror, your basic horror podcast or audiobook when I do this. You can see it's popping out. The red is popping out. It's gonna be internal. So we're gonna drape a bit of dark gray behind them. And then, yeah, hopefully these turn out okay. So like I said, I factory lime them. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units left. Since we're using cheap paints, you have to like go like 1, 2, 3, several passes before you could actually cover the prime color. But you know what? That's fine. That's fine. But so you have a lot of time to drain, and I basically just cycle over some of the spots that I missed. But seriously, Rick, I was so surprised yesterday during that training session that the council members showed up. Like, what the hell are you doing here, man? It was just a training session. There was no purpose. But you know what? I guess it worked. Because my team, my city team is on a rebuilding phase right now. So it's just me and like two other guys left. No. Me and one, two, three other guys left, and like I said, that other guy is still on the fence about joining this tournament on Sunday, for the simple reason that he's with another AOS team, Age of Sigmar team. So yeah, I guess that council member's plan worked of getting me to commit for this Sunday's game by simply showing up and giving me a fist bump. And I sort of, get it that, it sort of took a bit of effort for the simple reason that he lives really far away. Like, he lives in a different city, so I'm assuming he, like, just drove over a couple of hundred miles. No, it wasn't a couple, like, a few at least he must have driven over, like, 20 plus kilometers just to see us play and practice, and it worked. And here's this thing, right? I remember, oh hey dude, what's up? Hey Midnight, what's up? Blah 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 blah. All I know is that he's a council member. All I know is that he's a council member, but I honestly forgot his name. Right, the moment, oh hey, council member, what's up? Blah. I didn't call him council member. I just, hey dude, what's up? The moment he turned his back, I took out my phone and I checked out the socials just so I could remember his name, because I couldn't remember his name. Right? We barely see the council. We like rarely see the council support on these kind of things. Like, I had to check his name on the socials just so because I couldn't remember his name. Anyways, yeah, we're back. It turns out we're competing. But I really, really wanted to check out that LARP event. Because why not? Because I don't mind the exercise at all. I don't mind running around with foam swords and everything. It's fun. Because why not, right? I mean, one of the reasons why I do this because I'm having fun. Like with you guys. By the way, what's the with regards to Blue Archive? I've always wondered about the lessons because like What right now, during our downtime, what I do is basically I just log in and then just keep up with the stuff or activate some stuff. So I'm not really sure how the lessons are going. I mean, I'm just going by with what you guys said that just spend the lesson tickets or something, which I have. Although I'm not sure if I'm doing it right. Like I said, I'm so afraid of falling into that Skyrim syndrome of saving up stuff that I don't want to. However, as far as I remember, when it comes to gacha games, when it comes to online games like this where you have to grind, it's also a bad thing, like where you end up with mistakes or irreversible mistakes by spending the wrong thing. Although, I honestly don't mind because I spent I don't know, there's a couple of days back. I spent like what less than $5 just to test it out to buy some stuff, pyroxenes for Blue Archive, and it wasn't so bad. Actually, I mean, compared to the money I spent on these minis, really not that bad. And I swear to you, I'm gonna get like a better camera so we could do this better. Yeah, it's gonna be on my wish list, a better camera so you guys could see this better. Because right now we're just doing some factory stuff. Like since we're using like cheap paint which costs less than $3, GW down here will set you back for somewhere around $5 to $6. But anyways, here so you need like several passes and you can just wait for the paint to dry and then go back several. But right now we're about to be done with the Gambison. I finally remembered what I forgot to bring. I forgot the titanium white paint that would serve for their pants. Because if you guys remembered in the film The Patriot, British Grenadiers, they had the red coats. That's why they're called the red coats. They had the red coats on, and then apart from the red coats, they had red coats on and white pants. That was their uniform. Red coats and white pants. And I used titanium white for their pants. Oh yeah, his arm. Were several passes. If we have time, we're definitely gonna be painting these two, but I doubt it. Because before I paint anything or before I paint any mini, I honestly I've never actually painted a mini that was up to specification, in a sense that like I have to apply that in all of my projects. The very least I require a bit of freedom, in a sense, like for example, these are the Night's Watch brothers and I'm turning them into British Grenadiers. uh or I can't seem to do that with 40k minis. Because what? At a certain point, at a certain level, they all look the same because they're wearing a uniform. Right? I mean, Space Marine. How can you distinguish a Space Marine? By his color. That's it. By the patches on his shoulder. But there's only so many colors. What? Blue, red. You can literally tell them apart by their colors, and that's it. Beyond that, not much creativity is needed, or there's not much leeway required when you're painting Space Marine. Apart from the fact that if you're making your own faction, which you can go ahead, but the rainbow has only so many colors that you can play with. Among all my brushes, these cheap nail brushes literally do it for me. For some reason. Alright? It's because they do it for me. It's because I don't know why, right? I started miniature painting in one of those booths at a con, at a games con, and what I was sitting with children, I was sitting with senior citizens, and we were all like using the same brush, one brush for everything, and it must have been, I mean, it could have been a size 1 or a size 0 max. And guess what? Those guys produced good work with like one brush. And it wasn't even the good brushes because because after you paint your stuff, you can keep the mini and then you can keep the mini and then you can keep the brush. Right? I still have the brush that I used during that con last year, and they were like cheap brushes, as in throwaway brushes. You can like use one and then throw him away afterwards, and I still haven't thrown him away. So I sort of darted into this philosophy, started to get into this philosophy like if you can't produce good work with like cheap brushes, then you know what? Don't do it at all. I mean, better work, better equipment definitely produce makes things easier. But I mean, isn't that part of the fun, part of the challenge that you're using cheap brushes? And I'm guessing at this point I've sort of gotten used to them now. I mean, I haven't really used what you'd call an expensive brush because these Momiji brushes, like I said, costs less than $3. So I honestly have no idea. That's why I'm hesitant to actually buy expensive brushes like Arcos brushes or something, or GW brushes that would set me back like what $20, 20 50 $20 50 because I don't see the point. If you could produce the same work, and that's what I've been wondering about GW brushes. You're painting Space Marines, which is like 90% armor. What? No, no, no. Sorry, 70% armor. Right? You definitely don't need like you definitely don't need more than one brush for that. I mean, it's a good entry for learning. That's why for those shows or for those cons, they give you the basic Space Marine with the flame bolter, so you're good. You're good for that one. But if you're gonna paint minis like this with definite details, yeah, you're gonna need more than one brush. Oh yeah, you guys seen Fallout yet? Or at least a new episode of Fallout yet? I am a little bit disappointed that they sort of shafted the NCR at that point because like I said before, I'm a big uh Mike Burnfire fan. And yeah, and in my Fallout New Vegas career, I always sided with the NCR. So I was a little bit disappointed that they chose to destroy for that particular timeline. They chose to destroy the NCR. And what's the deal anyway? Would they consider it as canon that the NCR being destroyed, they being destroyed by Voltec? Anyways, One more thing though. What's the state of the Commonwealth? Because I played New Vegas after I played, of course, everyone. Just like everyone else, I played Fallout 4. So, with the arrival of Kumail Nanjiani's character, does that mean that the Brotherhood managed to take over the Commonwealth? I mean, does that mean that, the Minutemen failed to establish themselves in the Commonwealth? Or, because that was the implication. I mean, that's the way Camilo and Johnny talked. That it was the Brotherhood. That, if you guys remember your Fallout 4, it's up to you which side will basically take control of the Commonwealth. So, anyways, does that mean like the Minutemen lost or something? Because the way Camilo and Johnny's character, the Paladin, the way he was talking, it seems that the Brotherhood won, but of course it could also be interpreted in a way that the Brotherhood is simply one of the biggest factions in the Commonwealth. That the Minutemen are still alive and kicking. And therefore the Brotherhood is simply one of the factions roaming the Commonwealth. But here's the thing, right? That's the reason why one of the biggest reason why I think the Minutemen failed in their particular timeline. It's because the way Camille and Johnny presented the character, or the way the writers presented this character. The Commonwealth was calling the shots, right? Everyone, in the last episode, everyone was afraid of the Commonwealth. All the other factions and chapters, they were so afraid of Kamel Nanjiani reporting back to the Commonwealth of what he saw. So, if the Commonwealth faction or if the Commonwealth chapter was the one calling the shots for the Brotherhood, it could only mean that they have control over the Commonwealth. So yeah, there's that. Anyways, I wouldn't know. All right, I think we're just about done with red. Yeah, right. I think we're just about done with the red. Although, yeah, hopefully, I can explain to people that these guys are supposed to be British Grenadiers. I think we're ready to go with the white pants. Basically, I work inward, or those hard to reach places, and then outward. That's how I do my stuff, and then hopefully I have left enough in the pan. I have enough paint left enough in the pan to fix those corrections. I feel so privileged that I get to work with minis like these. Because number one, they're so expensive. Definitely cost me more than what I know buying those Paroxines for Blue Archive. And then there's the paint. Because here's the thing, right? Wait, how much would it cost? These minis like set me back like at a certain level. Hold on. At the very least, all of my minis combined set me back like $500, roughly $500 at this point. But what made this entire thing so expensive are the peripherals. Peripherals meaning what? Number one, their storage. Their transport. I honestly don't even display them around the house because I honestly don't have space for them. They're not even on a shelf. Like 100% of the time, when I'm not painting them or when I'm not reorganizing or playing with them, they're simply in their storage bin. That's it. The same storage bin that I use them for transport. And then next are the paint. Next is their magnetization. And then what other stuff. So like I said, cheap brushes, and then makeshift wet palette. Oh, by the way, for the makeshift wet palette, there are two types of top layer you can do. You can do baking pan. You can do baking sheets. or baking paper or parchment paper, but based on experience, baking paper is different, is better, better water retention, because parchment paper, well, it sucks. Parchment paper sucks in a sense that the paint literally dries out. But it's never happened to me when I use baking paper, so there's that. There's a tip for midnight if you're gonna consider painting. So one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. And then last one, as you can see, I work from the inside out. His inner is already painted red. So we're gonna work our way outwards. Can you guys hear that? Like I said, I listen to podcasts and stuff. Mostly horror because it's like the only thing that makes me feel anything. It makes me feel anything, which is like either horror or comedy. Like at one point, I mean, I'm honestly trying to get a copy or watch what you call it, Sentenced to Be a Hero, but I have yet to find a website that that would let me watch it for free. One of the reasons I gave up my Netflix account is because I don't see the point. Like, if you guys check it out, right? At least here in our little island or in our little region, almost all of Netflix anime selection, you can watch it on YouTube for some reason. I mean, except for some special ones, you can except for the originals. Almost all of the anime in our region here in Southeast Asia, you can watch. You can what is that? Yeah, you can watch on YouTube. So there's that. I mean, how is it? Can anyone tell me? I mean, how did it go? Because I can't find. I don't know where to watch. Sentenced to Be a Hero. Tada! That red is really gonna pop out the moment we black out his cape and everything. Downside is he's gonna be mistaken for Lannister units. Who cares? They're my brothers. My, you guys actually see what I'm doing. Yeah. Yeah, I promise you guys better camera as soon as I get the as soon as I actually earn some money. uh because that's the thing. One of the reasons why I when it comes to anything fun for any hobby, I usually take things slow because I was raised by people who told me like I didn't deserve good things. Like I wasn't supposed to enjoy things. So almost always every time I buy something for myself with my hard-earned money, it makes me feel so guilty. Like I should be spending the money somewhere else. So right now, I feel like I'm learning to spend money on myself. But you know what? The guilty part, I'm gonna have to basically relearn to get rid of because that's how I feel. Right? I have money to afford more minis. I have money to buy stuff from Blue Archive. But holy hell, it took me almost like a year just to it almost took me like a year just to get these or to complete this army. And what I did is that I didn't buy any minis because it always made me feel so guilty. I should be spending money on something else despite the fact that all of my bills are paid. What I did was for every each and every expansion unit, I made sure that I only bought these minis when there's like a huge discount or when there's like a store sale. I mean, one of the upsides why I am what you call it. One of the upsides why I am competing or for this registration right now is that for the sponsor, LGS sponsor, they'll be providing huge discount. I think not that huge, maybe 20 to 30% discount for their minis. And as for my Night's Watch army for this particular one, I am still missing the Spearmen. So hopefully they'd have new stock soon. Because almost all of these guys, either I got at a discount, I got at a discount, or I got them second hand. Which wasn't so bad. It's just that the guy that I got my Night's Watch army for, he was a Sith player, but he decided to, just like my present teammate right now, my inactive teammate right now. He was a Sith player, but for him, he decided to prioritize his AOS team. So there's that, because he's with the national team with the AOS. So I don't know. I mean, so I'm guessing it's both a blessing in disguise, because like I somewhat inherited, or I got his units at a deep discount. I mean, I wouldn't have gotten that cavalry unit if not for him. And it was still sealed, and then it was still sealed. Then there was the Night's Watch. What should I call it? Night's Watch attachments again. No, that one wasn't sealed, but at least it wasn't primed yet, because if you guys remember when we painted, did we paint? I'm not sure if we painted that one on stream. The Ranger Hunters that I got from him. He used for his primer, he used spray paint, white flat spray paint, which is fine, but I don't like it. Not my thing. For some reason, like it sort of bulges up, because what I do is I use paint on a brush on primer. So slap chop method, I basically first layer black, second layer gray, and then final layer white, and then you get that's how you get these shadows, instant highlights. But anyways, I honestly wouldn't say that my method is better, because that particular guy is an award-winning painter. I mean, he's won legitimate awards from cons, and from miniature cons and expos. So honestly can't fault him for his method, because he's won awards for it. And I haven't won shit. Alright. There we go. Alright, I think we're done with the red. What we're gonna do is we're gonna wait for it to dry for a little bit. Then next is that we are going to get their pants. So we're going to get their pants, but the problem is I forgot the paint at the workshop. So I'm just gonna run for it, and I'm gonna buy and I have to get the small fan thingy. So I'm just gonna run, alright? I'm just gonna run for it, and I'm gonna be back in less than 5. Alright, you guys, hold on. There we go. Hello, Blue Awesome. Hi. I'm not sure if you're still there, but no. Uh, I still haven't gotten Miyu yet. Is Miyu a special or is she? Hold on. Is Miyu a special or is she a striker? Because here's the thing, right? We have several girls and we have enough to fill in at least because okay here's the thing, right? We'll go off on a little bit of what you call it, Blue Archive. Should stop doing that voice every time I mention Blue Archive. uh Here's the thing, you guys. What I do every time I open up Blue Archive is I simply just collect the daily rewards. Because here's the thing, right? I am honestly afraid to play Blue Archive. Not sure if I'm honestly afraid to play Blue Archive without any of you guys, because I honestly don't know what I'm doing, right? And I'm honestly afraid that I might make an irreversible mistake if I play it without guidance. So what I do when I'm not with you guys, or when we're not playing on stream, or we're not playing online, is I simply just what I do is I simply collect daily rewards, and then I do the whole cafe thing. And basically, my objective right now, my objective when we're not playing or when we're off stream is to increase the relationship, with the student, relationship level with the students. And so far, everything seems to be working. So no, I haven't gotten Miyu yet. So she's striker. Or, you know what? I'm gonna keep it as a surprise. I'm not even gonna ask because like I said, part of the fun. Like I'm not, because I don't plan on moving forward without you guys. That's it. That's all I can say about that. I don't plan on moving forward without you guys. Because where's the fun in that? Right? I mean, I started this whole thing for the simple reason that so I could hang out with you guys. So I could hang out with people. And if I go around playing and play by myself, without you guys, it feels like I'm just gonna go back to old habits. Feels like I'm just gonna go back to the old ways where I'd just be screaming at the monitor or something. So no, yeah, don't worry, you guys. I'm basically just collecting the daily rewards, and then hopefully you'll be there by Wednesday or Friday. That's our schedule, by the way. But right now, we're in a bit of a rush. At the very least, we could finish everything up. Or at least I could do this properly. I could get at least one. That's my target. At least two. My target is to get at least two painted units on the table. I mean, being that it's a novice level, or it's an amateur level. It's an amateur tourney. The painting requirement is not there yet, so we should be fine. But since after this particular tourney, I'll be stepping into the pro level. Might as well get these guys painted out. So, anyways, we have new water, and then we'll be moving on to the pants now. Here is the thing. So new water and then paint. For their leggings, we're gonna using studio acrylics. My mom left a lot of art stuff for me. Because she was a painter, she painted as a hobby, and there's still a lot of stuff lying around the house. Anyways, new water and everything. By the way, you guys, if you're just getting into the hobby, if you're just going to start painting or something, don't do what those other YouTubers do, because I have seen those guys that they literally use their saliva instead of getting a glass of water. They uh They would literally put it into their mouths, and they make a point of showing it to the camera that that they use their mouth, that they insert these brushes and this paint to their mouth. Don't do that. All right? Because guys, check this out, you guys. Miniature painting is a soft hobby. All right? No one's going to, get cauliflower ears from from painting minis. So what these guys do, in order to look tough or in order to look cool, like, oh, look at me, I paint miniature, but I'm hardcore. Because because you know what, I put paint in my mouth, or I insert these paint laden brushes in my mouth. Don't do that, alright? Because they literally make a point of showing it to you guys, to the camera. And guys, putting toxic stuff, or I'm not sure if it's toxic, but potentially toxic stuff in your mouth, just so you can look cool or tough. Not a good thing, alright? Don't do that. It doesn't make you look tough, it doesn't make you look cool. Because here's the thing, right? There's a historical significance to people to people basically putting brushes or using their mouth to clean brushes. And the historical significance of that is because the lack of indoor plumbing. They didn't have indoor plumbing yet, and the fastest way to clean their brushes um was to simply just use your mouth, use your tongue and your saliva to clean it up. That's it. And the reason they did that is because they didn't have any indoor plumbing. Right? They found in some artist's grave, and it was the grave of a nun actually. That's how they discovered the entire thing. Um, they found out that they use their excuse me. Right. Renaissance or medieval artists, how they found out, oh, this person was a Renaissance or medieval artist, the same way, in roughly the same method, the way they found out that a soldier in a battlefield, in a the skeleton in a battlefield was an archer. Um, Artists, they realize, so when they exhume these bodies under an archaeological setting, they found out that their mouth, or the sides of their teeth, were filled with lead, because they used lead paint back then, or basically the same chemicals that they used to make paint, or it was composed of paint. Because what artists does, due to the lack of indoor plumbing, instead of going out to find water to clean their brushes, they just insert it in their mouths and then suck out the old paint. Whereas, medieval archers, they found to have longer right arms, and overdeveloped right arms, or longer right arms, or was that the tibia? Basically, the bone on the right arm is much longer and much tougher because of the way they draw those bows. So that's how they determined that these guys in that particular battlefield were archers. But anyways, you guys, if you're gonna plan on painting minis or whatever, just getting into art, do not put these chemicals in your mouths, okay? It doesn't make you look cool. It doesn't make you look tough. Because some of those guys make a point to let everyone know, to show everyone on camera, that they put these things in their mouths. I mean, come on, guys. You have to admit, this is a soft hobby, right? No cauliflower ears here, right? You're not gonna grow cauliflower ears, so might as well just stick to it. Same reason why the Logan Paul brothers ended up in MMA and boxing, because they're trying to look tough, they're trying to look older, but come on, you guys. Not exactly no, no, not exactly the toughest, and you know what? And you should just roll with it. Why is there an obsession to look tough? You don't have to. Because like I said, you guys, if you go around looking for trouble, I promise you, you will find it. Anyways, see, it's coming together. He's becoming a respectable and the proper red coat. Anyways, Blue Awesome. What is a Miu? Is Miu? What is Miu? What is Miu? Striker or wait? What's a striker? No, striker or special. I think we're getting there. I think we can actually finish this particular batch tonight. Um, and then we can hold off on the corrections in the morning. And then by tomorrow, yes. I mean, well, tomorrow. No, I have work tomorrow, so that's gonna be the drying. I'm gonna leave it to dry for the entire day tomorrow, and then I'm gonna work on. Hopefully, we could definitely finish it. Mm, all right. So first pass, at least for this one, is done. Speed painting is a skill. Yeah. Yeah, I know we're not supposed to use regular acrylic paints, but meh, who's gonna stop me? Because I used this particular one for the weight for some of the units. What is it? Ivory. I see it. I promise you, we're gonna get better cams. We're gonna get better cams. But unfortunately, it didn't work. It looked just yellowish. For Agrippa, I saw that there was a pearl weight, so tomorrow I'm just gonna swing by the mall and I'm just gonna try and swing by the mall. See if we could get that pearl weight for her dress. I mean, I don't even know if we should get that because what would be the point? Oh yeah, hold on. That's a crease. See, here's the thing, right? If we use spray paint on this one, you wouldn't even realize that it's a crease. Ta-da! Did you guys hear the podcast? It doesn't even matter. I'm just gonna turn it off. Not like you can hear it anyway. But here's the thing, right? I resigned from my last job because the boss liked to work in perfect silence. And yeah, I know the solution for that is get earphones, get earbuds. But the problem is the boss. I mean, my cubicle was literally right next to the boss, and in the middle of the day or in the middle of the work hour, he would call to me and ask me questions about the pending projects, and of course, it would be bad when I couldn't hear. It would definitely look bad when I couldn't hear her. Or that I have to take out my headphones because regardless of whatever type of work, whether for actual money or for just these things, I can't work in perfect silence. I need to be listening to something. All right, so there's that white pants. Next is that white belt. I mean, it's amazing that the British Army actually took the effort to give those guys white belts. Yeah. See the internal white belt? No one's ever going to see it anyway. But we have to do it. Ba-ba-ba. Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba. Huh. A little bit too white or a little bit too Santa Claus? uh, whatever. Whatever. Yeah. No. Alright. Happy accidents, just like Bob Ross said. Yeah, we're gonna have to clean that up, but you know what? It's not a problem. Happy accidents, Bob Ross. Alright, so first one is done. I am honestly considering and turning that belt white. But the theme is look, check us out, right? From our latest from our work this morning, from we just finished work this morning. Right? A singular brown belt and then white thingies, white or leather. I promise you guys, better camera with better autofocus. Come on, come on, autofocus, autofocus. Come on, autofocus. There we go. See, one singular brown belt just to mix it up. But anyways. By the way, you guys, if I don't respond to some of your stuff, it's because I'm wearing these, okay? I can't like look directly into the cam. Or I can't look, directly to the screen. So first one's done, we're gonna wait for it to dry. And then we'll start on the others. Yeah, again, if you're gonna take a break, never ever I mean, fine. Some if you're working on art, if you're working on paint, there will be my advice is don't put your coffee, tea, whatever on the same table. Always place it on a separate table. Because yeah, I'm one of those dudes that have actually that have accidentally drank the paint water. You know what? Wasn't so bad. Alright. Really wasn't so bad. I mean, see, as you can see, yeah, don't see it anyway. You will make mistakes, but you know what the best part about it is you can always just there's going to be a final inspection and you can just paint over your mistakes. Doesn't need to be permanent. But I suggest if you're gonna start, painting minis, um after you like painted one layer, go for others in a sense that in any creative endeavor, give yourself a break. I had a professor, right? That was his thing. What he would do when people are working on a project for his office or for his firm is that he would literally give money to people to watch movies outside, to actually go outside and do something. Because in order for you to actually see your flaws or come up with better angles to a particular creative endeavor is that space. You need space to actually see your mistakes. So I'm gonna do my best. So that's what we're doing here right now, right? right now we're just gonna put on the layer. We're just gonna put on the first layer, and second is what I would like to call is the correction layer after this one, because we've definitely gone across lines here, which is fine. I mean, these are minis. No one's ever gonna look too close, unless of course um it's a unless of course it's a mini painting competition or something, which they will look closer. Mm. Ah, they will look closer. I have to tell you guys that, you know what, I honestly don't know if I can like consider myself an artist when painting minis. Because it honestly, we found the floor, right? We forgot to paint over his sleeve. It was red. So yeah, that's why after finishing like one layer of paint, I move on to another in order so I could see mistakes, or so that's what I do. See, for totally missed his sleeve right there. So yeah. Anyways, sorry, went off on an entire tangent there. So honestly, I honestly don't know if I can like consider myself an artist when I paint these minis, because it honestly feels like I'm painting by the number here. Like I'm not really doing anything special, in a sense that, well, they're minis and then just paint to one section after the other. So again, I believe those artist titles. It's one of those titles that other people have to give you. It's like a nickname, right? It's like a nickname. Nicknames are either gained from are gained by reputation or by word of mouth. Like we don't choose our own reputation, in a sense. Like we don't get to choose our titles. Like what was that? Uh what was that film? The one with Brad Pitt, Quentin Tarantino. Inglorious Bastards, right? Inglorious Bastards. Remember that particular scene when Aldo Rain, Brad Pitt's character, was finally caught by Hans Landa. I forgot the name of the actor. I'm so sorry. And they were discussing nicknames. Yeah, I forgot. See, part of my plan, as you can see, these particular units are wearing gloves, and there's this section where you have your gambison, you have your mail, then you have your shirt, and then you have your glove. I'm not sure if you can see it because everything's getting. Hold on. I'm gonna check something. Can you see it better now? I'm not sure. Anyways, uh, so there we go. All right. So sorry, went off an entire tangent there. Anyways, for that particular scene, fell over. They were comparing nicknames. Because Hans Landa was reading off their dossier. You're Aldo the Apache, and you were the little man. The other guy, wait, I'm the little man. Yeah. We sort of don't get to choose our the nicknames people give us. Like I'm the Jew hunter. Certainly did not want that. So yeah, you guys. That's the whole point. Nicknames aren't up to us, or I believe being called an artist. Definitely one of those things that definitely one of those titles that other people have to give you. Like it's not up to you. I mean, you can call yourself an artist, but an artist is defined by his work. An artist is defined by his work, and well, an artist's work is mainly is mainly critiqued or mainly judged by other people. So there is that. I remember I was watching TV or something. Was it to TV or even YouTube? There was this SoundCloud rapper or something. Anyways, there was this guy. He was walking around with a camera crew, and he was like interviewing people. And his main question, based on my fit, based on my clothes, what type of music do you think I make? It's like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Like, you're a musician or you're an artist and you're a musician, you're a singer, rapper, whatever, and you're asking people to judge what type of music you make based on your clothes. Like, that's the stupidest thing I've ever heard, because music is the type of art where you literally don't need eyes. Alright? Blind people can make music. It was Beethoven, right? Historically speaking, he was the one. He was the classical composer that made music. Was it him? Was it Bach? I don't know. Anyways, one of them was blind, and the way he judged, if he, no, he wasn't blind. He was deaf, right? So imagine being. Here's the thing, right? There are a ton of blind musicians, right? And there are even here in our little island, there are even blind buskers. You'd see them in train stations. There are even blind bands. You'd see them in train stations and stuff like that, or at least you used to see them in train stations. And there's Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder. Take your pick. I'm pretty sure if you Google it, you will find names. You will hear it. And there's this dude walking around asking people like, I'm a musician, but can you do you guys think I'm a musician based on my clothes? Like, really? I mean, if he went around with like a speaker, you guys think this is any with a speaker or something? With a speaker in a radio or something. What do you got? What and ask people, what do you think of my music? I would have respected that dude right there and then, but he didn't. I mean, oh my god. It's like, oh yeah, we've done the sleeves now. I'm like, oh my god, he was literally asking people to judge his music based on his clothes. I mean, there's a reason why that term, what do you call that? He had the face for radio, because it's music is one of those things where you don't have to be pretty in order to be famous at it. You don't have to be pretty in order to make music. You don't have to be pretty in order to actually be successful. I remember who's that comedian? It's always that good-looking guy. He was referring to American Idol, and he's getting frustrated because it's almost always that good-looking guy with a guitar. Of course, Simon Cowell was in it, so I'm guessing they're gonna go with the most marketable person, or yeah, they're gonna definitely gonna go with the most marketable candidate, in the sense that they have to sell his stuff afterwards because that's what they promised him. Mm, yeah, we forgot his sleeve. It's fine. Happy accidents. We may have to switch brushes though. You know what? Fine. I forgot. Right. The reason why we're doing zero is we're doing his pants, and it doesn't really need that much precision. So right now, what we're gonna do is what you call it? We're gonna finish their pants first, and then we're gonna go back to their sleeves. Okay, that should make it. I mean, these things. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this on stream is because it's so boring. Because I know some guys, what they do is they paint these things. They paint each mini individually, and I'm guessing it's fun. But right now, since like, I'm worried that the paint might dry out or something, so what I do is that I make sure that paint doesn't dry out on me. So for every similar unit that requires the same color, I just paint them all over, and definitely much more efficient that way. because because I know some people, there's some streamers, they just put up music when they stream. Here's the thing. I have had like at least two strikes from YouTube because of my content. One was for violence, because it's how the channel started. The channel started uh, with us watching people fight. And was watching people, fight on the street, like literally. That was my initial idea. That was my initial idea. Basically, a VTuber that watch people fight. Which is like stupid if you ask me. But anyways, until I came under management that just do tabletop stuff. You're into tabletop anyway. So here we are. So anyways, basically, I reacted to this one video with two firms, hooligan, basically football hooligans, two firms fighting. I think it was West Ham versus Millwall. West Ham versus Millwall, I think, if I remember correctly. And then that was the first time I got my first strike. For showing violence. For showing too much violence. And then my side, our channel had like the second strike. Chat music. Basically they show these people with physical flaws, and they make songs out of it. If you guys remember, very funny stuff, by the way. And then I thought it was fine because we like released like several videos featuring chat music. And then I got the strike for bullying. Like, what the hell? So, anyways, so you know what? With everything that's been happening around around YouTube lately, we're definitely gonna be sticking to regular stuff, to some safe stuff. I mean, or I'm not even gonna go with internet drama anymore. Because to be honest, I never even like looking at internet drama, because here's the thing, right? If you're into internet drama, like Atozi, Legal Mindset, and others, Atozi, Legal Mindset, and others, almost always they use the same clickbait thumbnail or clickbait title. Like, Johnny Somali is ruined. It's over. Johnny Somali going to prison. And oh my god, it's like, Frogan's life is ruined. It's like, oh my god, it's like their life has been ending, or their careers have been ending for the past few months. Their careers must have ended based on the thumbnails, based on the titles. Oh my god, their careers slash lives, their finances must have ended at least, several over 100 times in like a single week or something. And guess what? They're still there. Like this morning, I was watching something about Frogan. Here's the thing: I don't even know who Frogan is, or I don't even know what she's done. But anyways, apparently, people don't like her or something. But anyways, uh, anyways, Again, I learned nothing. I gained nothing. Didn't even have fun watching that video. So yeah, despite all the bullying strikes, so in order to prevent violent or bullying strikes, yeah, we sort of left those kind of contents before. So yeah, from now on we'll be doing, we'll be painting stuff, tabletop stuff, and then Blue Archive. I should really stop doing that every time we talk about Blue Archive stuff. Fun though, I swear. I'm definitely gonna try and at least pull the student that makes that welcoming message of Blue Archive. Oh my God, we're so slow. I'm so slow. We're not even halfway there. And the only reason I was able to paint this morning is because the meeting that I was supposed to have, or the appointment, my only appointment for the day was canceled. Because as much as possible, I make sure that I schedule my work around Monday, or I make sure that I don't leave the house on Mondays, for the simple reason that, well, it's a Monday, right? Check this out. They actually made this study. They actually made a study that uh people sort of delete themselves from existence on Wednesdays, and people are more likely to get into a fight or an accident on a Monday. Right? The Monday thing is self-explanatory. It's like the first day of the week. Everyone's rushing. Everyone's energetic. First day of the week. Blah blah blah. Go for it. Whereas on the Wednesday, it was explained actually that the reason why so many people choose to unalive or delete themselves on a Wednesday is because it's too far, right? The Wednesday is like the middle day of the week. So imagine for someone who's struggling with some sort of emotional or what you call it, either emotional or psychological upheaval. Wednesday is feels like Wednesday feels hopeless because it's the so it was explained in a way that imagine you're crossing the desert, imagine you're struggling with some things in your life, and yeah, Wednesday is definitely going to feel horrible because imagine you're like the desert. You're too far in between, right? The upcoming weekend is too far away, and the last weekend feels too far away. So you're literally in the middle of the desert between two oases. So yeah, that's why most people choose to like unalive themselves. Um unalive themselves on a Wednesday. Speaking of unaliving, did you guys know that you are more likely to get unalived on your birthday? I forgot. I read something. We actually did some short form content on that one. Uh, that you're like 22% more likely to get unalive for some reason, and like for men, and then for women, your increases of having a stroke rises by like 22%. And why? It's because people become careless on their birthdays or something. Like they party a little bit too hard because it's their special day of the year. So yeah. Getting so people have this tendency to basically get unalived or just unalive themselves, or basically those risk factors where they end up analyzing themselves simply increases by like a couple of a certain number. My God. See, this is what happens when we work when I work on with perfect silence. This is what happens when I work with perfect silence. These are the things that literally go through my head. Right? Oh, it's like, huh? I mean, I know there's this millennial optimism, but like, holy hell! Sometimes I'm not in a good place, you guys. I mean, I remember, what you call it? Uh, Shondo, Fallen Shadow, that other VTuber. She just got banned from, unbanned from Twitch because apparently, she got banned by, I wasn't actually able to watch that particular stream, that got her recently banned. But apparently, it has something to do with self harm or something. That's why she got banned. And here's the thing, right? Oh, oh, that's why I need. I mean, guys. I mean, come on. One guy threatened me that this will not end for you because I was talking trash about a certain aspect of 40K. And dude, does it look like things ended well for me? I mean, I'm a goddamn VTuber. Not exactly the most stable thing a person can do in their spare time. So yeah, yeah, so yeah, as much as I love Shonda, uh, I don't think I can watch her regularly because the more I grow attached to, if I get attached to her, like to an Oshi level, I'm not really sure what it's gonna do for my mental state if something happens to her because she just came from she recently just recovered from some from a mental health sabbatical or something. So yeah, I'm not really worried. So yeah, I'm really worried like what might that something might happen to her because of her mental health. Because like I said, you guys, being a VTuber is a you can literally tell like, dude, does this look like the action of a mentally stable person? Because here's the thing, right? I love anime, but I specifically stick to Nishijuo and comedy. Right? What was that one with the blue wave? You have Konosuba, Danshiko Kyusei, Nishijuo, Asobi Asubase, Nishijuo. And then was it Blue Wave, the one where they were about scuba diving? One of the funniest, somewhat adult level anime that I've seen recently. I mostly stick to comedy for the simple reason that I know for a fact that if I watch Grave of the Fireflies or something somewhere near that level, I might just resign from my own existence. Because like I said, you guys, I did this whole VTuber thing as a way to well, just have fun because I've been touching grass my entire life, and like I said, went through some traumatizing. That's why I'm here, you guys. I went through some traumatizing experiences in the sense that, uh, yeah, in a sense that what happened to me is that I've been repressing like a lot of emotions for so long that I know for a fact that I'm not in a good place, and I haven't seen my therapist since pre-pandemic. Because some people that I love they're gone, both friends and family. And yeah, I needed to basically, repress a lot of emotions. That's why we're here doing this stuff. Like, that's why I'm here being a VTuber, because you know what, I could have, simply become a flash tuber. Just like any other flash tuber, definitely less strain on myself. But I don't think, I'm ready for that yet. That's why we're here. Because of, all that, going through all of those trauma, going through all that drama, and yeah, in order to survive, I had to repress a lot of emotions and stuff like that. When loved ones were gone, both friends and family. So um, based on those repressed emotions, I usually just stick to either comedy or horror. Because God knows, like, if I accidentally like watch, if I accidentally watch somewhere, Grave of the Fireflies or something, I might, I don't know what will come out. Ano sama? I love that one. Although I have yet to see the third season. Oh yeah, guys, if you have any comedy recommendations, Nishijou, basically funny ones. I forgot. Was it Blue Wave? The name of that anime where it was all about a bunch of college kids. What did it, a bunch of college kids scuba diving or something. I forgot the name. Blue Wave or something. Anyways, that's it. So that's why we're here. Thanks. I'm trying not to. You look tired. Thanks. I'm trying not to delete myself from existence. Because like a couple of months back, like the last year, I was in a really bad place because everything just felt a little bit too much. And it was really bad because like I was dealing with the loss of several loved ones, both friends and family. I was dealing with the and my only outlet was drinking and smoking, right? What I would do, like, after all of that hullabaloo, after all of that upheaval, when things started to calm down, and I just managed to get back to work, what I would do is to simply Netflix and gin. That's what I called it. I called it Netflix and gin. At the end of every workday, I would just drink in front of a monitor, Netflix, until I passed out. And of course, apart from the I would just drink and smoke until I pass out, until it's time to go back to work again the following day. That was my thing, and it wasn't very good for me. It wasn't very good for me, and some people saw it, specifically my mom, and she said, "You know what? Why don't you just come with me or something? Come with me or something." So she dragged me around, and then one time she just so basically she would just drag me around. And I think it was just a way for me to stop drinking after every workday or something. And one time, I landed. I think it was about March. Okay, okay, it was that bad, alright. It was like up to a point that I started going back to church, but I felt like it wasn't working in a sense that I would be there while the mass was ongoing, and I'm there just thinking what would be the best way to resign from existence without my mom like blaming herself or something. Like and I have to admit, at a certain point, I have to at a certain point, like, thankfully, I managed to get like a motorcycle. I can like make it look like I can like make it look like an accident or something. But I realized that, but anyways, that was it, right? I was honestly, couple of last year, early last year, I was honestly, I mean, thank God for VTubing, right? Because I can't do this. Because I honestly, can't talk about stuff like this. If I was a flash tuber. But anyways, early last year, I was honestly, thinking of ways how to resign from existence without without being that hard on my mom. Because because I think because she was the only one I was concerned for. My dad's gone. My brother's already on his own with his own family. And like I said, I went through some very traumatizing stuff. Life-threatening violence and everything. Life-threatening violence and everything that I won, right? That I won in a sense that my life or my family's life will never be threatened again. So I sort of won that particular battle, and after I won that upheaval or that traumatizing experience, or I got through the traumatizing experience, it sort of feel like it sort of apart from everything, it sort of felt like my time was over. It sort of felt like my story was over. Like if you guys saw those movies after the gunfight and the good guys won or something, not that the good guys won or something, and they would walk off. The cowboy would walk off into the sunset, or they would, if you guys remember the adventure, Robert Downey Jr. and the Incredible Hulk, Mark Ruffalo driving away to do science or something. It sort of felt like that. That what I won. I managed to get through that traumatizing experience. A life-threatening level of violence. I managed to get through it. We won, and now after that, it sort of felt like my story was over. And that and all those feelings that me looking for ways to resign from existence. What would be the best way, so that my mom wouldn't feel that sad. The moment I do it or something. So anyways, that was literally going through my head. It was up to a point that I went to church. I went I start I tried it event I tried going to church. I actually went to several churches, but for some reason it didn't feel like we were on the same wavelength. I'm guessing because most of those guys were young, like early, like most of them were in their early 30s. They were just starting out, and early 20s actually. And I feel like I couldn't find anyone with shared experiences, or at the very least people with the same wavelength as I am. So that was my thing, that was my thing, right? That was my thing. I was honestly looking for ways to just resign from existence without without my mom's had. So Netflix and Jin, Netflix and Jin. But anyways, until one day my mom dragged me along everywhere she went, and me still not coming up with ways how to exit from existence. Just went along. She needed a driver anyway. She needed a driver anyway, and but anyways, until one day when I was walking around waiting for her doctor's appointment or something, I managed to walk into this LGS, a local game store, and people hey and one of them mentioned, you want to play, you want to try, and I did, and I discovered that most of these people just like I am, or roughly on the same wavelength. We were roughly with the same age, roughly the same experiences, stuff like that. And that was like what, 2 years ago? Honestly, I was it no last year. It was just last year. So yeah, I'm good. I can honestly say that, you know what, VTubing and minis, doing playing with minis saved my life because I was definitely going off on that spiral. That my only outlet, or that my only outlet was literally Netflix and Gin. Because that after that traumatizing event, I honestly felt that my story was over. You know what? I'm so glad that it didn't happen because I get to hang out with you guys. We get to play Blue Archivo. I should really stop doing that. So much fun. But anyways, guys, glad to be here, and I can of it. One of my only regrets is that I wasn't able to find these earlier. Ah, because here's the thing, right? I've always loved anime, even as a younger man, even during my undergrad. Always loved anime, always loved this, always like here's the thing, right? When I found that LGS, they were playing a tabletop stuff. I always knew that tabletop stuff existed, but during my time in college and high school, uh, I knew of their existence, but I simply didn't. I knew of their existence, but I simply had no access to it. Right? Like for example, always wanted to try D&D, always wanted to try Warhammer, but I honestly simply did not know where to actually find them. Why? Because the internet didn't exist. Alright? I would be so envious like when I see like that's what I do. I go to basic anime, cosplay cons, expos, whatever, game expos with that. As I am basically trying to make up for lost time, and I would be so envious of high school people. They would be with friends, they'd be prepping for a cosplay parade or cosplay work. I would be so envious because we didn't have that during my time. Right? Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed my time, partying and clubbing, doing playing football and everything. Excuse me. But you know what? I almost always felt like it wasn't my thing. Like I honestly wanted to do anime, but like um yeah, I'm guessing one of the biggest reasons why we weren't able to, it wasn't as big as it was before was the lack of internet. Right? Like I said, I knew of their existence thanks to books, but I didn't know where to find them. And during that time in the early 2Ks, like 2006, 2000, during my teenage years, in the early 2Ks, they existed, but that's the problem, right? But on a very small scale. Like, here's the thing. You know how I think I may have shared this story before, but here's a story, right? Here's a story about anime, right? The first time was back in the 90s. I think it was about 19, the mid 90s. I first saw Dragon Ball from this network called RPN9, right? They showed Dragon Ball. And from then on I know that I was looking at something special. This wasn't your, run of the mill Hanna-Barbera cartoon. I was looking, at something special. But for some reason, right? Huh? That's weird. Like for this week, Goku's a kid, and then the following week, Goku's all grown up with a kid, Gohan. That is so weird. Alright. I mean, I as much as I tried, for some reason, it wasn't being shown in chronological order. Until years later, I found out why Dragon Ball Z was being shown in was not shown in the chronological order. Right? I remember I went to I because I had an opportunity. I had an opportunity to go to that particular network during my undergrad and interview one of their producers. And when they and I met the programmer that was responsible for showing this stuff, like Dragon Ball and other stuff and other stuff. That was he was meant to basically program the stuff to, to chronologically. He was a programmer, and his job was to make sure episodes are shown in order. Time slot A goes to 9 o'clock. Time slot B, or show A goes to 9 o'clock. Time slot A, so stuff like that. And here's the thing, right? Like years later, like in the mid 2Ks, I discovered that that particular asshole, the reason why that channel didn't show Dragon Ball in order was because of one boomer. The programmer was a boomer, right? Who didn't know anything about anime. He saw an episode. Oh, it's just your basic cartoon. So he didn't care about its chronological order. He didn't care it was episode 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No. He just showed stuff at random. Like, no wonder. Oh, didn't like this one show? Wasn't this one like aired last week? Wasn't this the same episode like last week? He couldn't care less, right? He thought it was just your run of the mill cartoons, like Hanna-Barbera cartoons or whatever that that didn't need to be shown in chronological order, that no one gave a shit about. He thought that anime was your basic cartoons. So oh my god, he just put the slot put up slot episode slots in order. And I remember feeling so angry that I felt like this asshole like sort of ruined a somewhat part of my childhood, because well, he was a boomer. He didn't know what he was looking at. So he just showed it at random, thinking they were just cartoons. It didn't matter. They're just kids. I mean, thank God the channel went down. I mean, there's a reason why that channel's defunct now. So yeah, hopefully he lost his job in a really bad way. Hopefully he like lost his job before he got his funding, because fuck him, right? I didn't get to enjoy Dragon Ball because of him. It wasn't only in high school when I finally mid 2Ks when I finally got to high school, where I was finally able to show cable, and I remember the first anime that I was able to see in full was Flame of Recca. Right? It was AXN, and I remember it was sort of that particular period where the US sort of discovered this new sort of discovered this new thing called anime, and as much and what they tried was to call it Japanimation. They did this whole entire campaign and tried to make it their thing and call it Japanimation, but no, it didn't stick. So ergo, we ended up with anime. One of the earliest I've seen was You're Under Arrest. That's why I have a motorcycle, because of that stupid anime. And then what was that? Ghost Sweeper. Reika Mikami Ghost Sweeper. Oh my god, closest to hentai I don't think I have ever seen. Anyway, sorry, went off on the whole anime tangent as to 90s kids weren't the 90s weren't a good way for anime, well, a good decade for us island kids. Anyways, um so yeah, as much as possible when I can, when my schedule opens up, I attend cons. I attend cons. I go to cons, expos whenever I can, and I feel so envious of those kids now. And the friend groups. I'd see them, getting ready to take the stage. Like, there's this group of friends, and you'd see them. One of them's a cosplayer, and the rest would be a support system for him or her. they'd be rushing like, oh my god, how come we didn't like do this? For the simple reason that it didn't exist, like during our time, and yeah, no, and so now I'm just trying to make up for lost time and everything. Just trying to make up for lost time. So yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, another. I know I've told you guys this story before. Internet, right? Internet. Here's the thing, right? I wish the internet existed during our time because high school was a very I went through a very violent time back in high school, right? For some reason these private school kids were all trying to be gangster for some reason. And for some here's the thing, right? During that time, due to the lack of internet, these kids, for the simple reason that we're all trying to be gangsters or we're all trying to look tough. Right? There's no such thing as internet, keyboard tough guys or keyboard warriors. So we literally had to take it out there on the streets, right? Uh, and the internet did exist, but do you know how it was introduced to us 90s kids? One day, I think it was in the fifth grade, right? One day, when we entered the fifth grade, we saw something in our curriculum called internet time. It was literally when written in our syllabi that internet time. Huh, interesting. Because back then, if you were a 90s kid, your IT related courses, if you were in high school or in grade school or something, your IT related courses would be limited to what you call it, Microsoft Office, doing Microsoft Office, learning how to type that kind of stuff, making PowerPoints, diskettes. Oh, hold on. I have some downstairs. I can show you guys like next. I can show you guys like next time. But anyways, diskettes and everything. Um, and that was it. Our IT related courses were limited to that. So one day, I think if I remember correctly, it was in the fifth grade. If I remember correctly, it was in the fifth grade. Yeah, we had something called internet time, and in the internet time, basically we would log in to the computer laboratory and do internet, right? So when we ask what exactly when we ask the IT guy what exactly were we supposed to do here? What are we here for? And he said, we don't know, but all we know is that here's the thing, right? Although he was a legit IT guy. When he was learning IT, there was no internet yet. So when we ask him, what are we supposed to do with this? I don't know, but you know what? It's in part of your tuition. It's all paid for. You get like you get like an hour of internet time every week. Yeah, you're right. But what exactly are we supposed to do? What is the internet? What are we supposed to do in the internet? He just shrugged his shoulders. He doesn't know. So for a lot of us, what happened was just we would sign the attendance sheet and be somewhere else. That was our thing. That was how the internet was introduced, at least, to me and my batch of assholes. That was it. That was it. That was it. And then, looking back at it now, I have scars. I have scars from that period. For the simple reason that, we were bored, and it seems like the best idea to supplement our boredom, or to not supplement our boredom, to get rid of our boredom, was to be violent, right? We would gang fights, like one guy got stabbed, one guy, the violence got so bad up to a point Like, I knew one guy had to transfer out, but before he could transfer out, like for like half a semester or something, uh he had to be escorted by teachers to and from the bus stop so he wouldn't get stabbed or something by a rival gang. By the following year, he had to transfer out. Story was he snitched on a drug deal or something. And I remember, and here's the thing, right? I didn't tell my parents about the entire thing because I thought that was the way the world works. Like, I'm supposed to suffer and take it. Because my parents were both boomers. They would tell me, "Oh, we had it so much worse." So I know for a fact that they weren't going to listen. But we were going to listen. I honestly wanted to transfer out of this place because of the violence. I knew one guy. He spent like an entire day looking out the window and saying goodbye to people because the local gang threatened that they would stab him, and he was so bothered, he was so afraid of it that he like spent the entire day looking out the window. And me, myself, and it wasn't that bad for me in a sense that I managed to build up a reputation that you don't fuck with me, and I had a sports credential to back it up. Uh, but still, it was a very bad place. Like, fuck these guys, fuck this high school. Like, I prayed that to be transferred out. I need a reason to be transferred out. Like, I went up to my parents, please transfer me out of here. And of course, PA parents being parents, they didn't listen and blah 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 blah. And yeah, one day it was over and we got to leave, and I never looked back. I never looked back at the violence. And here's the thing, you guys. Here's the thing, right? Uh when I got to college, when I got to my undergrad, I started, sharing these stories where I met guys. Like, they came from this unique, very popular or exclusive school. It's somewhat known for, our rich people. And all of those guys that I knew from that particular school, they had a scar running across their palms, a very deep scar running across their palms. So like a very deep scar running across their palms. Like, oh my god, dude, what happened? Like, all of these guys. What happens is that on our first day as freshmen, the seniors would drag us out and mark us, with some sort of a metal file that they would run across our palm. So in other words, like, oh my god, some of these kids, due to the lack of internet, experience more violence than I did. All right, despite the fact that I have scars, at least a bunch of seniors didn't hold without cause. A bunch of seniors didn't like hold me down on my first day and run a metal file across my palm or something. Uh, I don't know, but ever since, I mean, as a kid, it's almost always trouble for me. Like, these things like gravitate towards me. Like, I remember during my junior year, I had to be transferred to another class because me and this one guy got to a fight, and the teachers were got to a point. Basically, the whole thing got it escalated to a point that we were going to unalive each other, and they were right because basically we got into a fight. I lost that round, right? So there was no way I was gonna take that down. So after my suspension, I was literally planning on unaliving that guy. I was suspended for fighting, and like a week. Basically, my suspension like took an entire week, and that following week, I had a screwdriver with me. Because I lost the fight, right? I felt sick. I had a fever, whatever, blah 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 blah. Anyways, I lost that particular fight, So, after my suspension, I had a screwdriver with me. I was gonna unalive him. But anyways, here's the thing. Here's the thing, right? I didn't bring that screwdriver. I mean, I had a screwdriver in my bag and everything. But anyways, the following first day after my suspension, it was a Monday, right? I was heading for my new classroom. I was heading for my new class. First day, right? There was like, I turned the corner. I got there extra early. You know what? Maybe this whole new class might be such a good thing because I heard we both got suspended and the guy didn't show up. The guy basically went with his dad to the province or something. Anyways, hopefully he's dead. Fuck him. Bad blood runs deep for me. Anyways, turn the corner, people were being noisy, and like, oh my god. Literally in front of my new classroom, people, two guys were fighting. Right? And I knew these guys, right? One was a friend, and the other was a guy I had the beef with like a couple of years back. I knew these guys, and they were fighting. And people were like, yeah! There were people. The fight circle was already on. And I didn't even bother to help, my friend, because you know what, dude? I know for a fact that you can I know for a fact that you can handle yourself. That you can win this one, and I just got through a suspension. I don't need this expulsion. I'm like, this is junior year. We get to go out after a year. We get our last year would be for final one. And here's the thing, right? I turned basically this was the imagine this was the door. This is the door, and then this is the door, and all I had to do was basically just walk in through that door. All I had to do was basically just walk in through that door, and I'd be home free. But here's the thing: these guys were like fighting. The fight, like sort of moved towards him, and like before I was able to reach, I just needed to go through the door in order to make myself safe. But the thing is, the fight, they were fighting, they were moving, and the crowd was moving with them. Like, oh my god, it's my fucking first day on a new class. I sort of, and then there was this like wall, so I just, landed myself flat on this wall, and these two assholes. So basically, I just, turned my back because there was another door here, which was the door to the library. It was still 7 o'clock, it wouldn't open until 8. I tried opening it, but it was still locked. And these guys were fighting. So what I did was, you know what? I can't get involved with this, not now. Literally my first day back from suspension. And these guys were still fighting. And then what happened was I put myself flat against the door. And the fight literally continued on my back. Like, these guys were fighting on my back. And I literally just closed my eyes and like, good lord, just let it be over. While these guys were fighting behind me. And then the fight finally moved away and like, holy fuck, that was my first day. So like, yeah, back then I sort of like knew that I was the type that I have never gone looking for trouble my entire life, but for some reason trouble always seemed to find me. And yeah, I mean, based on that drama that I was telling you guys earlier that went through some life-threatening violence, I promise you I have never started a fight my entire life. But some people simply thought that they can. I don't know why. Is it my face? Is it my face? Is it what? What is it? I honestly never knew why. People simply thought that they could just come up to me and mess with me. I mean, it's one of the biggest reasons why I work out. Why I spend like every other day at the gym. And one of the reasons why I have one of the reasons why I have several licensed firearms. But the thing is, I don't know. Anyways, after that one, so yeah, again, I'm the type of person that would literally end up in trouble, and so I'm a VTuber. What do you guys think? Anyways, when I finally got to college, I realized, oh my god, some of these guys literally went through worse. So yeah, and I'm guessing, yeah, I've sort of got through with the lesser evil, shit like that. But I promise you, if only I would have a lot less scars. I would have gone through a lot less violence if only the internet existed. Right? But anyways, if only the internet existed. But it didn't, so here we are. And here I am, painting minis with you guys. Painting minis with you guys. And like, here's the thing, right? Even in college, the internet was a thing now, right? There was like mid 2K. So from 2005 onwards, the internet was a thing now, but it was only available to laptops. You either went through the school laboratory, just log yourself in and do internet, or B, log yourself in, or B, uh what you call it, bring your own laptop. Of course, my parents, were not the type to, believe that, you don't need that. You don't need a laptop. I mean, we went because that was their reasoning, right? I needed a laptop, but being boomers, always they referred to their system. When I was your age, I didn't have a laptop, so I'm guessing that they compared it to their experience, and they assumed that I didn't need a laptop too. So I was always forced to basically use the school laboratory to do my stuff, to do my homework and shit. So anyways, I remember so Wi-Fi was already a thing, and I remember the first time. I think it was about sophomore year. The first time someone I remember someone what you call it, um connect to the internet by only using their phone. Right? Data wasn't a thing yet. You can only use your phone to call and text other people, and the charges were hella expensive. But anyways, um during that particular time, you could only connect to either to your desktop, or you bring a laptop and connect it to the Wi-Fi. No problem whatsoever. But anyways, like one time I remember professor didn't show up, but he left an assignment on the board, like group yourselves into this, and then do a report next week. So fine, no problem whatsoever. All right, you guys, how about we do this now? So this wouldn't be a problem by next week, and we all agreed. All right, so I got up. All right, I'm gonna head towards the what you call it. I'm gonna head towards the laboratory and print out our materials and stuff. And the guy told me, no need, sit down, no need. He brought out this huge ass phone, and he connected it to the internet, and oh my god, my mind was so blown away. Like, oh my god, I didn't know that technology came up to us, and I go, that is amazing. Oh, anyways, that was the first time I saw anyone connect their phones using the laptop, because back then the best thing, or the only way you could connect to the internet was using your phone through dial-up, which was okay, but it was compared to what we have now, definitely hell on earth. Anyways, uh and then social media came along. I remember I was with my group of friends. It was 2008. I'll never forget the time when Facebook came out, because there was Friendster, and then there was like Multiply. AOL came out too late here in our little island, so yeah, there's that. Anyways, Friendster and Multiply, but both failed for some reason. I never went through those because I didn't have access. I didn't have regular access to the internet. So, what would be the point of Friendster and Multiply? Whatever. Blah 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 blah. Didn't even have an account. Anyways, I remember first time I saw Facebook. Right, I was with my friend group back then, and we both had like the same classes for that particular day. I remember we were all carrying equipment. We were all carrying camera equipment and stuff. As communications majors would do, cameras and stuff. And I remember every time we paused, she would take out her laptop and she would log into something. And I noticed that, like, dude, what are you doing? Like, we would pause to let another crowd through the hallway. She would take out her laptop and log in or something, and then we'd stop for a bit. He would take out her laptop. We'd go to the smoking area. She'd take out her laptop, and then you know what? Even while waiting for class, she would take out her laptop. Uh, and I just had to ask her, dude, what are you looking at? And then she showed me Facebook. Like, huh, interesting. And being the short-sighted Neanderthal that I was back then, I thought, it's just like Friendster or Multiply. It will never last. And of course, I was wrong. Anyways, a year later, I was injured playing football, and I decided to and I got transferred out. And anyways, another story for another time. So yeah, I honestly believe that right now I would have a few less scars if only the internet existed back then. Bum, bum, bum. Internet existed back then. A lot of us would have a lot less scars if only the internet existed. The guys that fought on my back. Stories. One of those guys, my friend on that, right? He had two major surgeries because of he needed two major surgeries to get out of high school, right? Because of the violence in high school. They had to suck out a knuckle. They had to suck out one of his knuckles, and he needed a major surgery because one of his enemies tried to run him over with a motorcycle. Fuck those days. And those assholes, and you know what, and my mom wonders why I don't go to reunions and shit, because those assholes, I promise you, bad blood will come up. And yeah, I still have that screwdriver. Anyways, so yeah, now I'm here with you guys painting minis, which definitely saved my life, and playing Blue Archival and yapping about this, which is therapeutic in a sense that just therapeutic in a sense that I wish like I had more stories, but thanks to you guys, my life has been somewhat static. And you know what? I am okay. I am honestly glad. Hold on. I just need to change the water. It's like turning exclusively white now. Yeah, we're back. Anyways, fresh water. Anyways, life has definitely been, static and stable. Ever since I started doing minis and started VTubing, and you know what, I am so happy about it because it's either Netflix and either I'd be gone from existence, or still doing Netflix and chill, or uh doing MMA or something. Because here's the thing, right? My life was shaped due to the lack of the internet. My life revolved around books and sports. TV was shit until cable came along. So yeah, I did sports. I did sports. I knew one guy. He joined the Boy Scouts, where he got SA'd as a where he got SA'd. Why did you join the Boy Scouts? Because either that or stay home. Why? What's at home? Nothing. TV. My dad would beat me up, so he joined the Boy Scouts where he got SA'd as a kid. He's doing fine, by the way. He's one of my oldest friends, and I'm not really sure how he's doing emotionally, but he recently received an award. Like a couple of years back, I remember going to the ceremony where he was being honored by the Ministry of Agriculture because he developed. I'm not really sure what he developed, but he's sort of like either he developed a new strain of fertilizer, or either he developed a new way to manufacture that particular strain of fertilizer. I'm not sure. They were discussing science. They were particularly agricultural science, and my job was to applause. So yeah, despite being SA'd as a kid, he managed to, have a good life for himself, that in a way that he was even honored by the Ministry of Agriculture for his contribution to agricultural science. Um, and he did well. Yeah, holy hell. I'm not really sure why we went to that story. Holy crap. Oh, I mean, this is one of the best reasons why I do VTuber. So I could share, like, my messed up childhood stories with you guys. Because if I was a flesh tuber, half of the people I tell in my stories would be easily identified. It'd be easily identified. So please, guys, I know there are ways to find out, like, the person behind the persona. But please don't, right? I know you can, you can triangulate, you can hack, whatever, but please don't. My dreams are small. Like, I just want to paint my minis, play Blue Archive, and watch 40K stuff on the internet. Alright, please don't. But anyways, I mean, this is the reason why I could share these messed up stories from childhood. Anyways, uh, uh I mean, to be honest, I honestly don't know. I mean, doing this VTuber stuff, like what level can I actually share these stories? Can I share these stories? Because I mean, I can honestly say that I'm definitely, I definitely, in the early days, I definitely didn't make the internet a safe place. Like one time, like a friend, like he posted this stuff in his social, like he was being sad or something. I honestly can't even remember what he posted, but it was those one liners that he was sad or something. So me being the asshole that I am, what I did was that I commented, did a girl laugh at your penis again or something? And I forgot about it. I was just messing around on the PC, and I forgot about it. Like but a couple of minutes later, I forgot about it, and then like a couple of minutes later, and then my phone was ringing. Like, dude, I told you that in confidence. Like, what? What did you say? I told you that in confidence that a girl laughed at my penis. Like, holy hell, man! Here's the thing, right? He never told me about any story where a girl laughed at his penis. But here's the thing, right? I simply thought that he was being sad, he was being emo, so I thought it was funny to literally comment, "Did the girl laugh at your penis again?" So he thought that a girl that he told me the story that a girl laughed at his penis once. And he said, I told you that but here's the thing, right? It was the worst thing I could think of. And I honestly, never really thought that something like that would happen. So he thinks now that he told me that story before, and I'm now, letting everyone know that he told me the story where a girl once laughed at his penis. So, like, what the hell, man? Anyways, internet stuff. So, yeah, apparently that happened. I mean, guys, here's the thing, right? This is it. I'm a what? Three-trick pony. We play games, we react to videos, we paint minis. I honestly don't know where to take it from here. So if you have any suggestions, please let me know. Because here's the thing, I have a very old PC. It's a potato PC. Like mine dates back to 2016 or like the one we're using right now. All right. It dates back to 2016 to 2017. I don't know. Right. One of those years. And here's the thing. Like, going before we went off tangent. Before we went off tangent, right? Here's the thing. That's why it took me so long to basically put this army together is because I feel so guilty every time like I spend money on myself and like either I earn the money from the not from the main job. So anyways, it might take me some time. Uh it might actually take me some time before we could get new PCs because management has been telling me play this game, play that game. I can't play this game. I can't play that game for the simple reason that uh I can't play this game. I can't play that game for the simple reason that my PC can't take it. That's it. We're running on a potato. We're running on a dinosaur, and I'm just hoping that I manage to buy a replacement before it finally conks out. Because I remember on my first scheduled stream, uh, the day before my first scheduled stream, um, I cleaned the CPU, and for some reason it wouldn't boot. During that time, I haven't prayed for a very long time, but I prayed, please, Lord, please let it boot so I can stream. And the good Lord answered my prayers. And that's why I go to church now. But you know what? I don't, participate in church organizations. And again earlier, different wavelength, brain wavelength or something. Mm, different brain wavelength. I don't know. Guess because you're younger or something. Uh, I'm sorry. I mean, I could tell you another very sad story, a very tragic story. But you know what? I'm starting to feel good now. So yeah, let's just keep let's just keep the lightness going. Ah, all right. I think the pants are almost done. Uh, I think we're almost done. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Holy hell. I'm so sorry. I'm literally racing against time because my back is starting to protest. Great. I'm so sorry, you guys. I aged. I'm so sorry. I started late with you guys. This is that. Obviously, based on the stories, like I haven't I'm not exactly a spring chicken, and one of the biggest things why I can't stream for like the basic 5 hours. I'm trying to work on it, but honestly, my back is feeling it right now. Like I'm literally racing against the time because when I usually paint, when I'm not painting on stream, I would just walk around, stuff like that. I would lie down. Uh, but now I feel like I'm racing against time. Don't get me wrong, I am enjoying myself, guys. This is like I said, I am so thankful to the God, the universe, that I am still here with you guys. Streaming, and these minis practically saved my life, and I am thankful for I am honestly thankful for every day that I am still here. And to be honest, I hope you are too. Because you know what, every day, I don't know what changed, I don't know what happened, but I found streaming, I found you guys, and I found these minis, and yeah, thankful, thankful for every day that I'm still here. Because I was definitely that close, like I was definitely that close, like a couple of months back to not being here anymore. But anyways, you guys, hold on, let me just. I can feel my back. I'm not even sure if I'm gonna continue for tonight. I have like an 11 a. I have like, what time is it? It's already midnight. I am midnight. Yeah. One of these days, I'm gonna tell you the story of how midnight came to be. Hold on. How midnight came to be. All right. Uh. Anyways, you guys. This is it. British Grenadier. Basically red coat to white pants or something for the lack of color. Anyways, you guys, again, I'm so glad to be here, you guys. That's all the time we have for tonight. Again, please like, share, subscribe, do the whole notification button thing to help me out with the algo. I will see you guys on a Wednesday, and then Friday we'll be playing Blue Archival, and then following week, I'm guessing we're gonna be sticking to the schedule. Anyways, bye.